Hello everyone and welcome to Season 9, Episode 1.
Season 9?
Season 9, Emma.
Wow.
Season 9.
It's gone so quickly and feels like such a long time at the same time.
The mad thing is, right, this episode's coming out a little bit later, but we completely missed our second anniversary.
We did, didn't we? You did text me.
26th of January was our first... 26th of January 2023 was our first episode release.
Yes.
And we've gone to 2 years now.
Yeah.
I mean, as you can imagine, if you release an episode every 2 weeks, and then you get to like season 9 of a six episode seasons, that all adds up. Especially with some breaks, blah blah blah, Christmas, etc.
Yeah.
But yeah, wow. Anyway, welcome to I See Bad Movies, everyone. I just amazed myself with that. I mean, you're hearing me, Dave Keane, and I am joined by the hastily put together Emma Spicer.
Hi. Hastily put together.
Well, you know, I'm only trying to tie in my description about you, because it was far too difficult always thinking of descriptive words that began with an E.
Let's be honest, it could be worse, couldn't it, with this movie?
Yes, it could be a lot worse with this movie. Worse. And it flashed across my brain, and then I realised, no, David, tonight would be the night you die if you used any other kind of descriptive thing that might have come from this movie.
This is true.
So I was good, and I didn't. So, but I went with the put together part. The hastily, maybe I could have put perfectly put together.
Yeah, that would have been more complimentary, but it
would have been a lie.
I wouldn't expect anything else.
Oh, I'm so horrible to you. I'm so horrible, and I apologise.
I'm so used to it.
That's true. To be fair, though, you only get what you give.
Exactly.
Right. So, Emma, obviously this is a new season. This is a new category we're going with. Would you like to tell our lovely listeners our category?
Our category this time is monsters.
Yeah.
So, and this movie, we created a whole season because of this movie.
We did.
Didn't we?
We did.
Because this was recommended to us.
Yeah.
And we thought, that is right up our street.
Oh, God.
How can we squeeze this into a season?
I know. I still remember you sending me the trailer for this film, or the information, the IMDb page for this film, and being like, I've just been introduced to this, and it was like, oh my God, we have to. And so we created a whole season around it.
Yes.
And we thought, we'll do it first, because like we were desperate to watch it.
Yeah. Because
we've got a couple of seasons of ideas anyway, but we were like, no, we're just going to bring this one forward and do it now. Yeah. Yeah. So, Emma, obviously, monsters. We got absolute classics lined up for you. Some absolute classics, some that you may never have seen before as well. But would you like to tell our wonderful listeners the movie that we are watching tonight?
The movie we're watching tonight is called Frankenhooker. I've been thinking about this, and when we do the intro, we always sort of make it sound like it's a mystery, and we release the title of the movie, but actually the title of the movie is on the podcast episode. So when they click on it, they know exactly what we're watching. So I was like, do we need to do this whole big mysterious thing?
I'm just so used to doing it now. Do you know what I mean? It's just stuck in my head. It feels like it's a feature of what we do.
Okay.
Would you like to tell the listeners?
We'll keep it.
But I mean, I'm all for change.
I just think they already know what they're watching, what we're watching, what they're listening to, because it's on the episode.
Maybe what I do is I release the episode with like just question marks, and then after it's been released for a while, then I can update the name.
Yeah.
But then anyone listening like in a year's time binging us being like, wow, this podcast is really shot up the charts. Let's listen to this one.
I love your wishful thinking.
And then they'll be like,
we know.
Why are you telling us the name of the movie? We know the name of the movie. I don't know why they suddenly gone
a
terrible German. That one is like, yes, we killed Captain America. We shot him in the legs. His shield is tiny. I just don't know why I felt like they would have that voice.
Okay.
Okay,
we'll leave it in. Just, because it's something.
Do you know what's going to happen now? The next episode we record, I'm going to be like, so this movie we're doing is this. and then I'll forget.
I'll go with whatever. But I think if you do the question mark thing, you're going to forget.
Yeah,
and then 100%. All of our episodes will just be question marks. And nobody will ever know what they're listening to.
Maybe that will entice people
until we reveal it in the episode.
Maybe it entice people in and be like, wow, this is a mystery.
Mystery podcast.
I must listen to this podcast.
Maybe we don't even put the name of our podcast on there. It's just the question mark podcast. Life is like a random podcast. You never know what you're going to get.
What film are we talking about? I forgot now.
Frankenhooker. How can you forget that?
I know. Right. Okay. Let me tell you, Emma. I know you know this, but let's go through the very, very quick synopsis of this movie. Where did you go, synopsis? There we are. Right. Come on. There we go. Sorry, my laptop is playing up a little bit there. All right, so Frankenhooker. It is set... When is it? It's 1990. So a medical student sets out to recreate his decapitated fiancée by building her a new body.
Body?
A new body? A new body made of Manhattan street prostitutes. So yeah, that's the movie. So
sounds awesome.
We're gonna watch it and pick the categories as we watch it.
Yes.
So I'm gonna flip the coin, and if anybody listened to the Double Down episode that was released before this episode, when I flipped the coin, I completely missed myself. I hit myself in the face with the coin, and then it hit the ground. So I'm gonna flip it and catch it this time. Okay.
Good luck.
The trouble is, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to flip it close to the mic to pick up.
Yes, pick up the sound.
But I am not dexterous enough to do all of that in one place. So we'll see what happens. That was a fail.
But it didn't hit you in the face.
It didn't flip, did it?
So less of a fail.
It didn't flip. It just kind of...
Oh, it didn't flip and it didn't hit you in the face.
Hovered through the air and landed on the table about 2 foot in front of me. Right, what do you think it is?
I think it's good.
It is good.
Oh, it is good.
It is good, yes. So we're going to be focusing on the good bits of Frankenhooker.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You don't want to see what I just did.
See where his hands went.
I did that kind of standard, like, hands up in the air. The good bits of. Oh no. Anyway, Emma, are you ready to go and watch? I've not missed anything, have I? I feel like I've missed something. Oh
no, because we're not doing categories. We've decided to start doing the categories.
Yeah.
The best that fit in with the movie, basically.
That's why I feel like I've missed something.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Ready to go watch it?
Let's do it.
Well, Emma, welcome back.
What a movie.
Oh, that was a lot of fun, wasn't it? That was a lot of fun.
It was really good.
I mean, it was stupid fun.
Oh, yeah, it was completely silly, but it was funny.
Yeah, it really did. Like, there were moments in there of absolute, genuine hilarity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very funny film. If you've never seen it before, it's well worth a watch. I was quite surprised at the beginning of... I'm not surprised, but I was... At the beginning of it, it's a trauma movie. Which is the ones that did The Toxic Avenger.
Yes.
That's all trauma movies. So, yeah. Although I think I prefer it to The Toxic Avenger.
Oh, yeah. Me too,
It's definitely a much funnier film, I think.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Magic, should we start talking about what actually happens in this film then?
Yes.
And, almost act like we're professional at this now.
We can try.
Well, I mean... I'll act like I'm professional. You just continue doing what
I've
you do.
I've always been professional. I think you'll find it.
Yes, I know. I know. Oh. So the movie opens up with we're kind of panning over all these designs and plans, and there's a lot of sort of chatter about you can hear little plans and like there's someone working away on what they want to do. But the movie opens up with that kind of thing. So we do meet Jeffrey Franken, obviously. Because he's a Frankenstein's monster movie, who's a youngish fella who lives in a place I did not know this, Hohokus, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
What a great name! It's literally HO-HO-Kus, KUS.
Hocus, is that how you say it?
Yeah. It's like hocus pocus. I don't know. But also, I think they've picked that place because of Ho and Frankenhooker, Frankenhookus. I know. I did click on the Wikipedia for it to try and figure out how it's pronounced, but I think it's literally Hohokus, like Hoboken.
Okay.
But anyway, not that any of that matters, but it just amazed me that, you know. Anyway, so he's a power plant worker, which explains the grey overalls that he's always wearing.
Yep.
And he's also an amateur scientist who specialises in bioelectricity. We're introduced to this by the fact that he has a brain in a jar with an eyeball on the dinner table that nobody seems to mention.
Yeah, it's just like in a small tank, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it water or is it some sort of fluid it's in?
Yeah. Well, he has a special fluid that he uses later in the film. I don't know if it's the same fluid to keep this brain in this sort of suspended animation kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, his mum, or not his mum, it's his girlfriend's mum, is pottering around the house while he's doing all this.
No one's batting an eyelid at the fact that he's got a brain with one big eyeball sticking out of it in this tank. What is he doing? There's no explanation either of what he's doing with it, why it's there, why it's got an eyeball in his brain.
He does at one point think, I think I need to do a little bit of work on it. I think it needs a lobotomy. And he just kind of puts some sort of, I don't think it's a screwdriver. I can't remember what implement he uses. He just jams it in the brain and is like, yep, that's done it. Like he's tweaked something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very odd.
Very strange. Very strange. But he's doing all this. Meanwhile, outside, we've got a party for his for his fiancée Elizabeth. It's a party for her dad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he goes outside, and we can see this kind of present all wrapped up, and the dad is there. The dad at the party's doing his little barbecue thing, jig and bob, right? And Elizabeth goes, "Oh, Jeffrey's made a present for you," and so Jeffrey is presenting him with a kind of a souped up automatic lawnmower.
Yeah.
Because he's obviously an inventor, blah, blah, blah. So Elizabeth is trying to demonstrate this lawnmower. However, it's very much like the guy in Austin Powers being like, no, no.
I want to talk about this.
Okay. So
in a bit more detail.
The lawnmower does it for Elizabeth, okay?
Yep.
That is Elizabeth dead.
Gone.
Right. Gone. So then we have kind of like Jeffrey is in grief, okay? He's with his mum now, and she's kind of trying to get him out of it and but seems like very much a man obsessed with bringing back Elizabeth. That seems to be the only thing on his mind at this stage. He's very, very obsessed with it. We see a news reporter talking to like a detective at the scene as well. I think this is a little bit before we see Jeffrey, because obviously some time has passed. But the news report's talking to the detective and said, like, horrible scene, blah blah blah. I got quite a lot to talk about with the reactions to the kind of dismemberment of Elizabeth.
Yes.
There's quite a lot of lines and quite a lot of acting that is quite amazing, I think.
There is.
But yeah, Jeffrey's using his knowledge of circuitry and bioelectricity to plan about bringing Elizabeth back to life. Okay. He goes into a really big garage in his mum's house. Yeah. It's massive.
Compared to the size of the house as well.
Yeah. It's much bigger inside this garage than it looks on the outside as well, which maybe he's also created some form of TARDIS as well. Who knows? Because he's that much of a genius. Now, in the what I meant to mention in the news report is that parts of Elizabeth are missing as well. And it turns out Jeffrey has them, because he's got them in kind of storage, and he gets the head out, and he has like a dinner date with her.
Yeah, I want to talk about that as well.
Yeah, I don't want to go into details of what happens in it. It's so tempting to just go into details of what happens in this dinner date. But yeah, I can't because I know there's so much to talk about when we talk about the actual movie that happens. But it's during this dinner date that we see him for the first time use a power drill and to jam it into his own head to trepan himself, to calm his brain down and to help him think better and more efficiently.
Yeah, because that works.
Standard. Yeah, just mash your brain around a little bit.
He literally just takes the drill and puts it to his head and drills, and it's like there's no blood, it's just
nothing.
Yeah, that's fine. Just make a big hole, gaping hole in your head.
Yep.
You know, what about infection? There's no. It's just like expose your brain to the world. I think there's a reason that we have a skull and skin and things like that. But no, he just goes straight through.
I mean, there's definitely a reason. Modern science hasn't figured it out yet.
No, but there must be a reason.
There must be a reason. But it is at this point. Excuse me. I need to do a cough. It is at this point where he kind of decides that he needs to build a proper body for Elizabeth.
Yeah.
And he's been working out in his mind, his newly trepanned mind, that the only way to do that, to get the perfect body for her, is to find a perfect woman. And his plan is to go over to what from, I think it's Manhattan, to find a worker of the night.
Yes.
To fit those means. So we get this sort of time where he's going through the streets.
Is there a reason why it's hookers? Is it because they're, I guess, not as likely to, I don't want to say this like they won't be missed, but they might not have family and friends and so you could like get away with killing them and nobody would,
which is unfortunately one of the things that makes that kind of sex work extremely dangerous for women, because there is obviously the assumption that
they're quite often estranged from their family and things like that.
Possibly estranged, and also like
the friends they keep
policing that sort of thing. Maybe not even that interested in looking into it because it's just to them somebody just off the streets, and where do they start looking? That's probably their point of view. But yeah, that's exactly the reasoning I would imagine that, you know, they probably fall foul to a lot of issues, and why someone like Elizabeth Wilnos kind of, you know, after watching Monster, I don't know the full facts of the story, but kind of seems like she fought back, but whether she was fighting back or just murdering people was, I suppose, up for debate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, Jeffrey decides he wants someone that as you say, easily missed. No one's going to look for them.
But I mean, he could have just picked one woman, couldn't he? And gone, well, she's got a nice figure.
Well, I think that is his plan originally.
Okay, but then he's not happy with every body part.
That's right, yes. So he can't find the perfect woman, but he finds perfect parts of these. Which
has made it so much more complicated and difficult, but, you know,
he
knows what he's doing.
No, absolutely, he does.
He's got his brain in his jar of an eyeball. He's obviously experienced.
He's driving around Manhattan in like a seedier sort of part of town or whatever, and he pulls over and a woman comes over and is talking to him in the car, and he's like, he's interested in like the perfect woman and that sort of thing. So she takes him to like a bar, and he meets kind of several sort of different women in this area. He meets an abusive pimp called Zorro, who is muscle-bound, temperamental, a crack dealer, because there's a lot of crack being done by people in this film. There's a lot of like not infomercials, but like news things, or no, not news things. It's like a talk show that's on the telly as well about like the dangers of crack, etc. But yeah, I mean it doesn't go anywhere other than what Jeffrey eventually uses really to get these women and their body parts in the long run. But he says to Zorro that he's looking to rent every one of the women for a single night to find the one with the perfect body. He doesn't say why they need to have the perfect body yet, but he's just doing that. So, inspired by all these news reports about crack cocaine causing the death of many New York prostitutes, he developed something called super crack. So he goes away from this night of meeting people. Crack. Yeah, I know. He goes away from meeting these sex workers and their pimp, and decides he's going to create this super crack. And he tests it out on a guinea pig. A literal guinea pig.
A literal guinea pig, yeah.
And he finds out that actually it causes living beings to explode. So, yeah. So, it decides he's doing nothing wrong as well. There's a whole sort of thing, I want to go into this, but he decides he's not doing anything wrong because the crack will probably kill the prostitutes anyway. So, his super crack is just going to make it faster.
Better for them, really. It's more humane. And
he's not making them smoke it. You know, if they smoke it and they explode, well, that's just...
Yeah.
Their problem. This is a very toxic viewpoint, isn't it? It's like, I'm going to leave this hand grenade with all in this play school.
Yeah.
And if those children...
if they happen to pick it up and throw it or play with it, they play catch with it, that's on them.
Yeah. If they left it alone...
Not my problem. Not out of my hands.
That's it. You know, my hands are clean. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I Jeffrey might be a genius in some ways, but in other ways, I think he's a little bit backwards, to be fair.
Well, I mean, the first thought for most people, if their girlfriend passes away, is not how I'm going to keep hold of her severed head, and then I'm going to try and kill a load of other people to make some sort of body.
It's not the first thought.
It's not the first thought.
It's not
but
the
it
first
might be
thought.
in there, I don't know.
It may, you know...
He's also the brain in the jar.
Lonely nights come in.
Whose brain is that? Where'd that brain come from? How did you get hold of a brain?
That brain?
Has he grown an eyeball into the brain? Is it someone else's eyeball put in someone else's brain?
Yeah.
There's so many questions.
Is it Kang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Is it the guy from Crank? Crank 2? Is it Crank 2 where the guy's head's in the...
Fuck you, Jerry Jaws.
Is it him? Just his brain rather than his whole head? We don't know.
We just don't know. But why has it's only got one eye as well?
Yeah,
that
and
poor brain's got no depth perception.
But the eye is sticking out of the brain. It's not even on a face. It's sticking... Your eyeballs don't stick into your brain.
No, they don't.
Two separate things.
They don't. There's a wee optic nerve that goes back and forth.
Yeah.
Do you know what amazes me? Right? The human body doesn't recognise your eyes. They've got their own, they've got their own, what's the word I'm looking for? Like immune system as well. Because if your body knew that your eyes existed, it would attack them as foreign entities.
Why? They're part of your body.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. Why.
But it doesn't recognise them.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, just doesn't.
Why would a part of your body?
But yeah, that's.
Why would a part of your body not be considered a part of your body? I get like foreign objects and like parasites and things like that being rejected by your body, but part of your own body, that's ridiculous.
I know. I'm gonna have to look it up. Right. So does your brain recognise your eyes? Because have I been told rubbish?
Yeah. Are you just believing something that's a myth? Maybe. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me that would be the case. But I'm no doctor.
So there we go. So does the immune system... Oh, see, it's rubbish.
Oh, it is rubbish.
It's rubbish.
Yeah, because I was going to say, if you've got like an eye infection or something, you can medicate that, can't you? And your immune system would kick in and fight that off, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so yes, the body's immune system has special protections for the eyes called immune privilege, and this means that the immune system doesn't react with the eyes in the same way it does with other organs. So how does this immune privilege work? The eye has a limited inflammatory response to protect vision from swelling and tissue changes. So the eye has a variety of mechanisms that limit immune responses, including lack of lymphatic drainage, low expression of MHC molecules. I mean, that's standard. I mean, that's quite obvious, all that, isn't it? You know. So
your eyes basically don't swell up if you get unwell.
Yeah.
If you get an infection or something, because it might cause vision loss.
Yeah. But but your immune system is not going to eat your eyes.
No.
Which is what I was told. I want to find the person that told me that, because I think I've told people that fact and been blindly like, oh wow, yeah.
My granddad used to tell us that he had his eyeballs taken out. They put them on his cheeks and they cleaned his eye sockets, and he could see while they're on his cheeks. And as stupid children, we believed him.
So I do know someone who has had eye surgery and had their eye taken out, and you would still be able to see through it because it's still connected through the optic nerve. The light's still going in.
Yeah.
The iris and the lenses are still doing all that you do. But if your eye came out...
But you wouldn't be awake, would you? You'd be knocked out for that.
Yeah, I imagine you would be. I can't imagine that's the sort of thing that would be
my granddad's
local.
telling it like... Yeah. You know, my eyes are set on my cheeks and
out,
I'm just looking around.
Have a little clean. Q-tip.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but that's nonsense.
But yeah, if your eye came out and it was still attached to the optic nerve,
you still see
what was happening. I mean, that would be so cool though.
I'm so squeamish.
If you could remove your eyes and just pop
look
around
the corner.
Look. Just think of the practical applications you could have.
I mean, how long's the optic nerve though? You wouldn't be able to look that far.
Well, I mean, imagine like one of those, one of those...
Go gadget eyes.
Yeah, like those keys that you have on your belt where they're like attached to a thingy. What if they did shook straight back in?
Could you do like yo-yo with your eyeball?
Like figure of eights through the loop. Oh, did you ever have in your school
sick.
Those people come round and do yo-yo? Did you not have that?
No.
Oh my God, we had these people come around our school and do this like
yo-yo
tricks and all that.
What? No.
And everybody got a yo-yo. We all got yo-yos.
No,
at my
we
school.
had a girl band. I think I talked about this before. Called Milan with Martine McCutcheon.
Milan. And
every time they spoke, all I remember is them going, basically. Everything they said, they went, basically. And I remember that so clearly, so they must have said it a hell of a lot because I was only about 13.
Mind you though, I can't talk because the amount of times I use like as,
I do as well. And we do so a lot on this podcast.
Yeah, I know.
But the more you think about it, the more you stutter when you talk because you're trying not to say those little ums and ahs.
I know, I do that so much. But also what I have to stop and realise is this, okay? I don't need to do an if I just don't say anything and use my brain to think about it and then speak, I can just edit those gaps out.
Yes.
And the ums and ahs and that sort of thing that come out in these episodes, I edit a lot out.
Do you?
And there's still a lot in there.
Oops.
I know. It's not you so much, it's me. I also repeat myself a lot.
Okay.
I say the same thing twice so many times. Yeah. Just like that.
Just it then.
And it's something that I'm like 2 years into this, Emma. I should be thinking about it and trying hard.
I don't think we've ever listened back though, and to note things like this, to kind of listen and go, okay, are we I'm in an R in, are we repeating ourselves? Are we doing this? Are we doing that? We've never really criticised our own podcast, have we? And
we've not gone at it with a critical kind of thing.
Yeah.
We're just assuming
we just assume it's great.
Yeah, I mean,
everyone loves it.
People are downloading it. People are, hopefully listening to the episodes.
Listen, we don't pretend to be perfect. We are, and we repeat ourselves.
Absolutely. And also because it's
but our hearts are in the right place.
Yeah, because it's a conversational podcast as well. It's not like we can go from a script or anything.
It's definitely not scripted. That must be so obvious that it's not scripted.
Yeah. Could you imagine if this was scripted?
Writing this script.
Imagine writing this nonsense stream of consciousness that we have.
And if it was scripted, I'm sure you would be slapping my hand every time I start writing about the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
You'd be like, that's getting edited out.
I would have some sort of macro that looked for any 80s reference and instantly deleted it from the script.
Out, yeah.
100%.
Yes.
Maybe I'd leave a few in like a dog with a bone and just throw you some scraps.
Just to appease me. But
every now and again. I know. But c'est la vie. This is the podcast.
We'll soldier on. We'll continue to be the same.
Do you know one thing as well? Like, if it was scripted, it would make editing so much easier because if we messed up, we could just stop, go back, delete that, and then just pick up from where we messed up.
Yeah.
I recorded a radio play the other weekend.
Oh, did you?
Yes. I got sorry, everyone. I know we're talking about Frankenhooker, but this guy got in touch with me last July and was like, David, you don't know me, but I know you. which is weird.
That's always
but
weird.
I knew him anyway from...
I've been looking through your window for the last couple of years.
I knew him from Canterbury Players as well, but I'd never worked with him, never been in anything with him. And he said, but you've been recommended as well, because I do these radio plays, and I've heard them before.
Yeah.
Right? And he said, I need someone Scottish. He said, are you free to do this recording? I was like...
Did you say to him, have you checked out the cast of... Believe Not This?
That's a good point. I should have been... Oh, no, I should have done that. That would have been funny. But then actually only to me. You wouldn't have known what I was talking about at all, would it?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, see, people just don't have the same encyclopedic knowledge of bad movies as we have.
That's the trouble.
It is the trouble. People are awful.
People just need to get their bad movie knowledge sorted. Yeah, get your shit together.
Get your shit together.
Come on. Are you an adult or not? Because you don't know bad movies. What have you been doing with your spare time?
If anyone says something that's actually really good, I think we'd both be like, oh, we could have been doing that.
Yeah.
Oh. But then also, this is fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is fun, isn't it? Please tell me it's fun. Please.
To us.
Please.
Hopefully to the listeners.
Please tell me it's fun. So this guy got in touch, right? It was like, brilliant. I'm going to be recording it later this year.
Yeah.
Lovely. Didn't hear from him for a while, and I thought, oh, that's just past. Probably never going to happen. Anyway, got in touch again around about December time. It was like, so sorry, work was busy.
Yeah.
We're looking to record at the beginning of February, blah, blah, blah. But we will meet up and go through the lines of that. Anyway, I do the lines of that. But it was last Sunday? Yeah, it was last Sunday.
Okay.
Oh, my God. Not this Sunday, the one Sunday before.
Yeah.
So I go around there, and I've obviously got a script.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've gone through the lines with him before, so I know how I'm going to say them.
Yeah. I
walk in. They're still recording some of the earlier scenes. I don't have that much. I've got like a scene to do, like the token Scotsman in this radio play. And I go in. I've got the script. I do the lines, and obviously opposite the person that I've got the scene with, and we record together in that. And no word of a lie, I was recording for about 5 minutes. I did all my lines once.
Oh, okay.
And Jim was like, "Yep, great, thanks, David. That's you all done." Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So with a script,
yeah, just so quick.
But you get me talking, I'm like, yeah, that's that. Yeah, maybe, yeah.
But like you say, that's just conversation, isn't it? Because in an everyday conversation, you wouldn't speak perfectly. You do, and that's what's wrong with a lot of dramas as well. That I notice when I watch any sort of drama. You don't get the ums and the ahs and the pauses or saying the wrong word or messing up. It's all very perfect.
It's all too clean.
And that's not how conversation... you always get a word wrong or stumble over your words or... I
think you can really tell naturally written things where you have even those sorts of things thrown into the character. Not everyone's going to be like that.
Yeah, I always notice it when it's a little bit more... natural and it's a bit more they might sort of pause here and there, or they might stumble their words, and they might have actually done that, or they might have if they've ad-libbed something, that's if they improvise, sometimes that comes across a lot more natural, doesn't it?
Yes.
You notice in movies and stuff where, and you find out afterwards, they just improvise that whole scene.
Yeah. You
think, oh yeah, that does come across as a lot more natural.
Improvisation is so difficult for me. I hate it so much. And I've been doing this acting class, right? And an exercise we had in the class just before half term. Yeah. Like, I'm on my half term at the moment. I mean, Jesus Christ, I'm a grown adult. Half term, yay! Enjoy your half term, everyone. But one of the first exercises was to have an argument about just the rubbish not going out. Yeah. And it wasn't just have an argument, right? But it was like, and at some points you're attacking, some points you're yielding, and it's all about power dynamics and that sort of thing. And honestly, there's only so many arguments you can have about the rubbish not going out. Yeah. Where you are defending yourself or being like, well, I didn't take the rubbish out because you didn't give me enough time. Blah, 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 blah. I hate improvisation so much. Yeah, but that could just be like the surface argument. So you're like, this isn't, you've done this every week, you forget every week. And then it could be like there's deeper problems there. Yeah.
But this is the straw that broke the camel's back.
And that's where it always.
They're having marital
problems. That's exactly where it all went. Started to go, and it opened up all sorts of things. And like the person I was doing it with at one point was like, you know, like I would imagine always it's like a couple who argue about the rubbish going out, you know. But then I can't remember what she said, but she was like, she made it seem like it was something completely different. Like I was her child instead. I was like, oh, okay, that we're going with that. And I was like, now I have to respond as if I was your child would respond to that.
Yeah.
Oh, Mom.
Yeah.
Felt weird. Anyway, speaking about taking out the rubbish, Emma, right? This super crack. So anyway, Jeffrey has this evening with all of Zorro's workers.
Yeah.
Where he is going through under the guise of like a medical examination with the women, and he's measuring all their body parts, he's checking them out.
Yeah.
But he's getting really frustrated and having kind of second thoughts because he can't find the right person.
Yeah.
The right singular person. There's perfect parts all over the place. And so he's getting a bit worried, and he certainly can't think about killing multiple women to achieve his goal. So the women actually start getting annoyed with him because they're thinking, oh, he's not going to pick one of us.
Yeah.
So, hey, are we still going to get paid? Blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
So they start like ragging on him, but they check through his bags and they find this big bag of like this super crack. And of course, they're all on crack. So they all start just like smoking it. And when I talk about this big bag of super crack, it's like human head-sized bag of super crack. It's an enormous bag of crack, right? Enormous. But they all start smoking it, and Jeffrey knows what's coming. And one by one, the women all start just blowing up.
Yeah.
Exploding. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be talking about...
We will be talking about this scene.
A lot of detail about this scene. Both in good and bad, I think.
Possibly.
Quite possibly. So outside, Zorro's hearing all this commotion. He goes rushing into the room, but as he rushes into the room, because you think, oh, this is going to be the end for Jeffrey, because Zorro is absolutely roided up. So he goes rushing into the room, but as he rushes in the room, a lady explodes and her head goes flying and knocks him out cold.
Mm-hmm.
So Jeffrey gets all the women, all the parts of the women, puts them into trash bags. And he's promising to restore all of the women once he brings Elizabeth back, apart from obviously the ones that are the bits are going to Elizabeth.
Yeah.
They'll be, I don't know, legless, armless, or one person probably torsoless. Who knows?
No boobs.
No boobs. don't. So anyway, he goes through all the different body parts. And he finds the right ones. He sews them and Elizabeth's head all together into a single body. He raises Elizabeth up through the garage roof and uses this sort of superstorm that's coming as well. Oh, I forgot, like the news says there's a superstorm coming in 2 nights. So Jeffrey is on quite a tight
bit
schedule.
Back to the Future, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yeah. Oh, yeah, God,
Harness the power of the storm.
Back to the Future came first before this as well, so maybe they...
Yeah, Back to the Future, that's how they got the car started again, didn't they? They used the
and Back to
power
the Future
from
was,
the storm.
1987, 86?
I think it was late 80s, wasn't it, the first one?
Yeah, it was late 80s, and this was 1990, so...
Yeah, they've just nicked the idea.
They have indeed. But it works. He shocks Elizabeth's body and it comes back to life. However, Elizabeth isn't quite perfect. She is quite strange in her movement.
She also looks like a patchwork quilt of a woman.
Her face is...
She's all different skin tones.
Different skin tones, yes.
And she's obviously got the big stitches all over her.
Yeah, her face is
She's not looking good. Yeah, she's not looking good.
She's really not looking good. She really isn't. But yeah, so... however, so she's not doing well, and she can only repeat what all of the previous women have said. So she's not got Elizabeth's personality at the moment.
Yeah.
So she's kind of saying, like, do you want a date? All that sort of thing. Okay. And she's also repeating all the previous lines that we've heard in the movie from the women as well.
Yeah.
So she escapes the basement and she disappears off into New York trying to find clients for herself because like the sex worker side of her is taken over. She does find a fella and takes him to the bar where I don't know if it's the same bar, the same place,
I'm not
like
sure.
The hotel where Jeffrey was with the other women.
But the guy she picks is like middle-aged, unattractive, overweight guy, and like he's very excited. Like if you ordered Danny DeVito from Wish. Yeah,
sort of
and
thing.
He's very excited because obviously he's like, oh, so this woman is, wants to sleep with me, even though he must look at her and think she's like I say, like a patchwork quilt of of a woman.
She's not looking good.
Nobody looks at her and thinks, what is going on? This woman does not look healthy. They just accept it, and he's just excited to the prospect of sleeping with her.
I think he is. That's everything that is going on there. He's just way too like, I am. Maybe was he wearing glasses? I don't know.
I can't remember.
But maybe his name is Mr. Magoo. Who knows? But anyway, Jeffrey goes looking for Elizabeth, and he finds her at the bar. Okay. However, Zorro is there too, but he hears Elizabeth mention Zorro's name, and he recognizes body parts because he brands his
tattoos,
workers with a Z. So he recognizes, and he's like, "That's not your arm," kind of thing to Elizabeth. Anyway, she disappears off with Jeffrey.
Also, all the stitches.
Yeah, also all the stitches and the different skin tones of the body parts as well. Yeah.
That gives it away too.
So, we're in the bar and like there's a little bit of argy-bargy and Zorro hits her in the head and like her head goes flapping off and all this electricity starts exploding out of her as well. But Jeffrey kind of evades Zorro, takes Elizabeth home to repair her neck and revive her again. Now, he bolts her head more securely to her new body, and Jeffrey awakens Elizabeth and finds out that her memory is fully restored. And at first, she's really impressed that Jeffrey brought her back, but unfortunately becomes a little bit angry when she realizes that her body, what Jeffrey used to make her body back up.
Yeah.
And how Jeffrey obtained the parts.
Yes.
He does try to explain himself, but before he can, Zorro creeps in behind and chops his head off.
Yeah.
It was instant. Like, whoa, okay. Done and gone. But we do find out during that conversation that the liquid that Jeffrey used is full of estrogen.
Yeah.
So is only suitable for bringing back females. Bodies, females, would be the better way to say, I think. So it's not, we kind of think, okay, Jeffrey's dead, that's not going to work for him.
Yeah.
So, but then Zorro then attempts to drag Elizabeth away and justifies it by saying that most of her new body belongs to him anyway. However, when Jeffrey he didn't fully dispose of all the other female body parts.
He put them in the freezer, didn't he?
He put them in the freezer chest with this suspension liquid.
Yeah, that liquid,
this estrogen liquid. And what then happens is that all of these spare parts have also been reanimated by the storm because when the lightning hits Elizabeth, the lightning goes down into the garage and we see it hit that. Very clearly point out it's like a Chekhov smoking gun thing going on here, but they've merged into like multiple grotesque limbs. Imagine the broken toys in Toy Story.
That's what I've written down. That's what it was like.
All right, I won't go into any more about that. But they overwhelm Zorro and drag him away into their storage cooler, and again, we're presumed dead. Then we see another hand come out and go, "Oh, there's the bag of drugs," and pulls it into the the fridge as well. But then we kind of have a little bit of a cut. And we see that Elizabeth actually decided to revive Jeffrey via the same procedure he used on her. But since the process only works on female bodies, Elizabeth is forced to put Jeffrey's head on a body made of the prostitute's body parts to bring him back. And as Jeffrey awakens, Elizabeth happily says they'll be together forever, as now Jeffrey is mourning in horror at his new female body.
Yeah.
And that's
the ultimate sex change operation, that is.
Yeah, it is the ultimate one.
Sorry, gender reassignment.
And it's interesting how Yeah, but it's interesting how that is used as like a punishment for Jeffrey at the end of this film as well, because it's like you've done this to women, and
now they're getting their own back,
and now there's some form of revenge, and he's not happy about it.
No,
not in the slightest. But then,
well, no, because he is. It's a female body with just a man's head on top. It's not like you know, it's not like he can get away with looking like a woman, really.
But then, you know, Elizabeth is not looking amazing herself.
No,
is she?
She's not.
Yeah, the head. I think it's because the head was a lot older dead than the rest of the body.
Yeah.
The head is that really sort of pallid blue kind of look, isn't it?
And then there's all different skin tones going on, so it's nothing. Yeah. No one limb is the same colour as the other.
No, there wasn't. It's a very, very strange mixture. But yeah, that was kind of what happened in the movie. I mean, obviously, there's so much more going on in every little bit and scene. Of course, there is. As brief as we can cover it. So, I know we're covering the good in the main episode, and obviously we're going to be covering the bad in the flip side. And just so you're aware, the flip side for this episode is free if you sign up as a free member. And if you sign up as a free member, you get the first episode of every season's flip side free as a bit of a taster. And if you decide that it's worth the $3 a month, you can upgrade to become a full member and see how it goes. Yeah, we've actually got 7 members.
That's good.
I know. I'm really impressed with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's like small numbers, but it's lovely. We've had a few wee comments on some things as well on previous episodes on Tremors. People are like, they love that. They love Tremors.
Yeah, of course. Who doesn't?
Who doesn't love Tremors? Oh, and there we go. Double Down has just been released as our special episode. Like, literally just got the email saying, hey, your episode is now live. Wow.
There you go.
That's going to date this episode.
That will,
it will date this recording. But this episode will be out in 2 weeks anyway from the time we're recording it.
Yeah.
So yeah. There we go. Oh, welcome to the background of I See Bad Movies, everyone. I hope you feel very, very underwhelmed.
As we do.
As we do. Right, so I've got good supporting cast. I've got good lines. I've got a good actor as well.
I've got supporting cast, scene, and props.
I think you might have the same supporting cast as me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we have.
I think we both rushed to our phones to write the note as we saw that one. So do you want to... Shall we start with that one?
Yeah.
And you can tell me that one. Go on.
The police officer that's on the news?
Yes.
So when Elizabeth gets mowed down...
Yeah.
Did you see what I did there? By the lawnmower.
It's painful,
you liked
but I liked it so much.
Yeah, so she gets killed by the lawnmower, and obviously... Well, we don't see it, do we? I want to talk about that anyway, on the flip side. But it's sort of, there's her body gets destroyed and it's chopped up into different pieces. Yeah. So there's just her body just laid out in different pieces all over the lawn. And there's obviously a couple of bits missing because Jeff has taken certain parts, hasn't he?
Yes.
Including her head. And there's a police officer. They're doing a news report, and they just pan to this police officer that's just counting body parts on the lawn, and then like scratching his head. It's such a cartoon way of like.
Yeah, it's so funny.
That story. Yeah. So he's kind of scratching his head, like, but there's not. But he's counting. It's not like, oh, there's a head missing. He's actually counting parts. Like, well, I've only got 10 parts here. There should be 12. Like, and then just like. Oh, I have got another supporting cast as well. But I don't know if it's I don't know if it's supporting cast or actor, actually.
Oh.
I feel like it's actor because it's...
If you're going to say...
Yes.
I put that person down as best actor.
Actor, yeah, because it's more of a main
part. Purely because a named part. And also being that the movie wouldn't happen without them.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
But... I understand why, because they're not in it a lot.
Yes.
Until the very end, of course.
But yeah, definitely the police officer then was...
it was, honestly, I think this movie is worth the watch alone just to see this man do this counting and scratching his head thing. It's so stupid.
It's just... It is. It's like cartoon, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like that's how you would show that in a cartoon. But he's actually like pointing his finger and counting as well. Like, you don't need to count. Nobody knows how many body parts there should be because it was just
when someone is mowed up by a mole. Yeah,
but you can see there's no head. That's a bit of a giveaway that there's something missing.
It's brilliant. It is brilliant. But so obviously that was my best supporting cast as well, and he's in it for 5 seconds. In the movie for 5 seconds. Yeah. But it's one of the most memorable things about this whole film. Steals the film. That's what a supporting cast. No, I know supporting cast is supposed to are there to support, but that person stole the whole film. Stole the whole film. All right. What did you have? Because I've got good lines and best actor.
Did you want to do best actor next?
Yeah. Okay. So I had down Elizabeth.
Yep.
Purely for when she becomes Frankenhooker.
When she's Frankenbeth.
Frankenbeth. Yeah. Now, I don't know this person's acting chops. I don't know if they've studied with Marcel Marceau at the Mime Academy in Paris or wherever, okay?
Yeah.
But this woman's physical performance as Frankenhooker is amazing.
She was really good. The facial expressions.
Just so good. She'd throw in these kind of little tick things. She would move funky and funny. She'd be repeating those lines.
It's up there with what movie is it that we watched where the guy
Monkey Bone. I was just gonna say it is so really reminiscent of that. Absolutely fantastic. Chris Kattan is the actor's name.
Yeah, he
from
was
Saturday Night Live.
Because didn't he have to walk with like his neck in a funny position and stuff? And
his neck was broken and
didn't come out of that at all. You really did feel like
brilliant bit of physical acting, and she does exactly the same in this one. It outstrips anyone's acting in this film.
Yeah,
100%. And I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect to be watching this film and sitting there making a note and thinking,
impressed by acting.
Yes, this bit of acting is absolutely brilliant. Yeah. You don't expect it in films like this.
No.
But it's so detailed. You really feel like every single facial expression, every single movement of the limbs is planned.
Yeah.
It might not have been. It might have been a fluke. She might just naturally be great at moving like that. But
yeah, I don't feel like it was planned. I feel like she got it.
100%.
She must have. I mean, I would assume she's sort of rehearsed it, but I feel like she just went, okay, this is how you might move if you were a Frankenstein monster.
And she's nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. So impressed. So impressed. But yeah, brilliant. Where do we want to go next?
I've got props or scene.
Oh, okay. Oh, I don't have a good prop. So go ahead.
Do you not?
Yeah, no.
Okay, so
why don't I?
I think my favourite prop was so at one point Jeff's got this big drawing.
This is why I didn't write anything down because I knew you had.
Oh, you knew that I had it. Yeah, so he's got like a big drawing on the table and it's like of the female body, but it's like quite muscular, isn't it? It's like it doesn't particularly look that feminine, but it is, showing the muscle and stuff. And he's writing notes all over it, like ridiculous notes. But he's writing notes on it, and when it sort of pans out, the camera pans out. He's stuck a photo of Elizabeth's head on the top of it, but this this drawing is like. So, like, the head, it looks like a pinhead. It's way too small, isn't it, for the rest of the drawing? It just looks ridiculous. Yeah. And it's just all the silly little things that he's writing on it as well. And it was when it panned out that I just thought, what is going on? Like, he's stuck a head. But then I want to talk about this on the flip side as well, because there's lots of other things he sticks her head onto.
Yes.
But yeah, I thought that was good, because it was just funny when it looked ridiculous.
Yeah. Do you know what really made me laugh about that as well? I mean, it's like an anatomical drawing, and they've obviously added their little, mechanical drawings on top of it and notes and all that, as you said.
Yeah.
But also, do you remember the nipples on the drawing?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
It's a drawing of a body, like musculature, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, as far as I'm aware, like the nipples are on the outside.
Yes, they're not
so
muscles, are they?
Why do the pectoral muscles have nipples on them?
But I think this is why I liked it, because it was just so ridiculous. It was just ridiculous. And there's a lot of boobs in this film.
Oh yes, there are.
So and
some of them attached.
Some of them attached to the women. Yeah. That was my other favourite prop was
the platter.
Yeah. So it was when all the prostitutes get blown up. This is what made me laugh as well, because they get blown up, but there's perfect body parts that just get preserved, like left. You know, they're not like blown to smithereens. It's like there'd be an arm or a foot or a boob.
There's a leg with the thigh bone sticking perfectly out the top, like a ham. You know, yeah.
And at one point when he's trying to put his Frankenstein's monster together, there's just like this plate of boobs, but it's like they've been perfectly sliced off the chest. Yeah. They're all in perfect tact. They're all in complete tact. They're not like, it's literally like he's taken a knife and sliced them.
Yeah.
And obviously that wouldn't happen, but it's just this plate of boobs that was just like, okay, just made me laugh because
I mean,
he needs two.
It's not the sort of thing you want served up in a restaurant, is it?
And also, I thought, you only need two, and you've got quite a lot there to pick through, and they all look very similar.
Overkill of boobs.
But also, I was like, because he was holding them up against each other, and I was like, surely you want a pair. You want it from the same woman, because otherwise they're going to look odd.
Yes.
And they can be different sizes,
yeah.
and again, different skin tones, and all of these things. And I just thought, surely you just want maybe one of the women, both her boobs got perfectly sliced off.
Yeah.
You want a pair, don't you? You don't want mismatched boobs.
Well, it's like, you remember that movie Total Recall?
Yeah.
Where he goes to Mars and there's a lady with 3 boobs, and the guy's like, you make me wish I had 3 hands. But Jeffrey's like, you make me wish I had 12 hands. Because there's so many of them to choose from as well. Like, honestly, Jeffrey, I hope he picked a pair.
Well, I say that, but
no.
But the thing is, the rest of the body is just, I've described it as a patchwork quilt.
I was wondering as well, maybe that's why she's moving so awkwardly, because he's picked 2 legs that aren't the same length.
Yeah.
Of course, because
none of it's going to be matching up exactly, because women with different heights, different sizes. Yeah.
Going to have to put a wedge in some of those shoes as well.
Yeah.
Oh, honestly, Jeffrey, I don't think he's thought. No, he didn't think it through. He didn't think it through because he couldn't find the perfect woman, and then
he panicked.
a rainfall of parts arrived for him, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So you what else was it? You had a good scene as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
I've got loads of lines written down.
Oh, okay.
So do we want to do scene or lines?
Do your lines.
Do you have lines as well?
I don't have any lines actually. I didn't write any lines down. Not to say there wasn't good ones, but I didn't write any down. Okay.
So going back to what you were saying about the cop counting the body parts.
Yes.
This really made me chuckle at the beginning of the film. For reasons other than it being just a good line, it made me think of something else as well. But
yeah.
So a good line I had was when the detective was talking about the body parts. He explains that some of the bits are missing, right? And the reporter asks which bits, and he says, "Well, apart from the head, it's hard to tell. It's like a jigsaw puzzle." And the reporter goes, "A jigsaw puzzle?" And he goes, "A jigsaw puzzle."
Mm.
Now, it might not sound like a good line, but the way it was delivered, right, it was like a jigsaw puzzle, a jigsaw puzzle, a jigsaw puzzle. It's like Garth Marenghi when he opens up the episodes of The Dark Place and he's reading from his book and he's like, Jeff looked down at his hands and saw maggots. Maggots.
Yeah.
It just made me think of Garth Marenghi. And I was like, wait. Has he seen this film and used that as a trope from it?
By the way, if you don't know Garth Marenghi, Google, because honestly, Google. He is worth a watch.
Garth Marenghi, Marenghi, Dark Place. Very, very funny man. Very
Dark
funny
Place,
man.
but also the books he's written.
Also, books. Oh, did you finish that first? Have you listened to that first one?
I haven't quite finished it.
You've not quite finished
I'm
it.
near,
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sex with an evil possessed typewriter. Not just normal sex, but BDSM. Nick Steen has put through a lot.
But this is the thing. I knew if I read any of his books, I couldn't read them. They had to be audio books that he's reading out, because he is the character. So I couldn't read it in my own voice. It wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't have the same effect if I read it. I didn't think.
Absolutely not.
So audio book's the way to go with his stuff.
And the fact, he's reading it in character.
Yes.
It's just so good.
Yeah.
So funny. The second one is, I think,
better than the first one?
I think just as good, actually.
Oh, okay.
Just as good. Bit of a mind bender, but it's still a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's like Teratome is just one long story, isn't it?
I think so, yes. One story, yeah.
The second one is like 3 individual little stories. It's kind of short stories. But anyway, Garth Marenghi.
Yes.
If you don't know him, look him up. You will not be disappointed. Absolutely not. So now, moving a bit more seriously into lines, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you maybe want to talk. We didn't really mention it very much. It might be that we want to talk about it on the flip side, but I'm not quite sure actually. But it's when Jeffrey is having the dinner date, with Elizabeth, and he's got her head on the table.
I think I had that as bad props. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Bad prop. That's okay, because what he does is he pours wine out for them, and he's made a dinner, and he pours the wine glass, and as he was doing it, it's like, that's just going to pour out the bottom of her head.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it did. He pours it in her mouth, and then the wine just kind of goes out, right?
Yeah.
He goes, he says, "You like that Beaujolais, don't you?" But he's doing it like he's talking to her like, "Oh, hey, oh, you really love that."
Yeah.
Like if you could imagine if you had like somebody, like a loved one who was, I don't know, paralyzed from the neck down or something, and you were, he's doing it like that, and he's being so gentle, and he's like, "Oh, you like that Beaujolais, don't you?" Like, oh.
Yeah, and it's just her severed head.
Yeah, and the wine pouring out over the table. The whole thing together was just mad. I loved it.
Yeah.
So also just after this, I was just like writing all these little lines down. So then after he's done that little bit of trepanning on his head, and he's working out all the like, I'll find the bodies of these. I'll use the bodies of these women. And he's like, "There's plenty of women selling their parts over the river for the right price, and I do have my Christmas account." I've got my Christmas savings. Oh my God. Oh, so then, right. So then, I'm sorry, I'm falling apart a little bit here because it was just so stupid. So he then says later on in the film, with like he's just blowing up this guinea pig with a super crack, and he's like, "This super crack will get the job done." It's not even that funny, but it's just when he says it, just in like the moment. "This super crack will get the job done." Fucking hell. Oh, right. And then, well, I know I touched on the fact as well that he was. I've written down so many good lines. Although it kind of ends at a certain point of the film, because I thought I can't just keep writing the lines of the film. People just have to watch it. Obviously, we talked. I'm not going to go into detail about this one because we talked about how he's justifying the super crack and that he's not killing them. It's the crack that's going to do it. Blah blah blah. All right.
Yeah.
So, but when he has used the super crack and all the women have exploded, and he's collecting them up and putting them all into bin bags, he's like, "I didn't mean for this to happen. It was an accident. I want to apologise to everyone here." They're literally all exploded and dead, right? Yeah. He says, "I have an estrogen serum that will do wonders for you. It'll make you feel like your old self in no time."
It's okay because I'm going to put you in some serum.
It's just the way he's like, "I've just exploded you all, and I'm being super apologetic about it because it was an accident."
I think it's just his whole detachment from reality, isn't it? It's just, he is so fucked up.
He really is.
but it's all played like
therapy's helpful. You know, get therapy.
But it's like, I mean, if this was a real life situation, he'd be the most fucked up like psychopath ever.
Yeah.
But in the movie, it's like, oh, he's just a guy that misses his girlfriend and wants to make good and like create her a new body, and as if that's like a normal, nice thing to do. And he's just, he's just a guy that lost his girlfriend. He wants to stitch her back together with loads of prostitutes' bodies. Yeah. I mean, come on, give the guy a break. He's lost his girlfriend.
It's actually really, really romantic when you think about it, isn't it? I wish I met someone who would want to
stitch you back together with a load of male gigolos.
Male gigolos, yeah.
Should you die in a terrible lawnmower accident?
I do have a couple of suggestions, though, for certain parts. I want blue eyes. Anyway, sorry. So, I stopped there at the lines because I was like,
okay,
I'm just going to end up writing down loads of mad ramblings of his because they're just...
Because it was just constant.
Constant stupidity. And sometimes it wasn't even that. It was just the way he said it, or it reminded me of something else, like the Garth Marenghi one.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you'll get what I mean when you watch the film, and I really do recommend that you watch the film as well. Well, you've got a scene, haven't you?
I've got 3 scenes.
3 scenes?
Yeah.
Ooh. I made you add loads of lines, so you have as many scenes as you want.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we did get a bit of a montage, which we do love.
Yes.
We love any kind of vision of, like, if there's an animal or some sort of killer object. If we get their vision, we love that.
Did we get Frankenhooker vision? We didn't, did we?
No. But then, okay. I suppose she is a monster, isn't she?
She is a monster.
But we didn't get
anything
vision.
from our point of view.
We did get a montage.
We did.
Kind of. Was it a montage? Would you say it's a montage? It's when he's measuring all the prostitutes.
Yeah, I would say that was a montage.
So, it just little touches I liked. So, he has, like, he's measuring boobs, and then he's got a magnifying glass on the nipple. I don't know why. He's like, measuring the boob. Okay, fair enough. You want to see what sort of size chest she's going to have. But I don't know why he needed the magnifying glass on the nipple. That was just unnecessary.
I know. What is that going to tell you?
How much more do you want to see of a nipple? You can see a nipple with the naked eye. You don't need a magnifying glass to go like, I need a better look at this nipple.
That thinks that was just for the audience at home, that magnified nipple. But you could have just zoomed in. You know what I mean?
Exactly. There was no need for the magnifying glass. But that just made me laugh. And then also what made me laugh was there's one point where he's checking out one of the women's arses, and he just puts a big tick on it.
Yes.
On the cheeks. Yep, I have that arse. That boob.
But do you remember though, he uses that one.
Yes, he does, because the tick's on her when she's made up. Yeah, because they did actually show a shot of that as well, didn't they?
I thought that was such a good
touch. That was a good little,
They did actually use the one with the tick.
It's a good little nod to that scene.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Oh, and then I've also got the scene when all the prostitutes are exploding from the super crack.
Oh, yeah.
So there's like a boob that flies off, there's a leg that flies across the room, and then there's the head that flies over and headbutts the pimp. That was perfect. Oh. That was such a good little moment. It was just like... I think we watch so many bad movies where we think, oh, you could have done so much with that scene and you didn't. Or so much with that death. But this scene... They really kind of did do what you know, if you've got exploding prostitutes and you've got body parts flying all over the room, the fact that one of the heads just like flies across the room and hits the pimp in, like headbutts him, it was just perfect.
Absolutely.
So I really like that scene as well. And then the last one I've got is the at the end when all the body parts come out of the freezer. So this is all the other prostitutes. So what's happened in the freezer is they've kind of just, like you said, they've kind of just merged together to make these weird kind of monsters within themselves.
Yeah.
And one of them looks like a raw chicken with a weird mouth at the top. That's what I thought it looked like. It looked like the shape of a raw chicken.
Oh,
and it had a mouth at the top.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, it did. Yes.
And then there was another one that looked like the thing out of Toy Story with the doll's head. There's like a doll's head and it's got like legs stuck onto it, and then like a fishing rod or something.
Fishing rod on it, yeah.
There was one that looked like that as well. And there's one that's just a big pile of boobs with a head on top. And it also made me think of the Substance. Is that what it's called? Substance.
Yeah, The Substance.
With Demi Moore. The film that came out recently.
Yeah.
If anyone's watched that, I don't want to. No, spoiler alert. But at the end, have you watched it?
No.
But
yeah.
But at the end, she
I know kind of a lot.
She kind of tries to use the I don't know what it's called actually. It's like it's not a serum. It's
substance.
The substance. Yeah. She tries to use the substance, reuse it, but you're only supposed to use it once.
Yeah.
So she reuses it on the version of herself that she's already created from this substance, and it just all goes horribly wrong. And the thing that it ends up creating is just like this. It's all kind of different body parts squished together. So she's kind of got like this big, like melted kind of fat head, and then it's got like another little head coming out of her back, and it's got like the body's all just a weird big like. It's just a mass of just different body parts. It's horrible. But it made me think of that as well, especially the pile of boobs with a head on top. Yeah. But it was just ridiculous. But I did like it. I thought it was quite good.
It was, yeah. I know what you mean. When they came out, it was like, oh yes, this is because
they could have just stayed preserved in that fluid as separate body parts. But the fact they all sort of merged together and created these other monster type creatures was quite good.
Touch. And I think like you said, going back to the bodies exploding scene, there's like they could have done so much more with these things, but they'd thought of it. They were consistently thinking, what can we do with this? What can we do with this to make it as good as it possibly could? Yeah.
Okay, so with that in mind, of us saying it could be as good as it possibly could,
I know. What would we do?
What would we improve on this movie?
Oh, that's a really, really good question. I was looking up something there when you mentioned about the explosion. Okay, and I want to read this little bit of trivia out to you because I'd remember when you shared the details of it, me seeing this, and it just stuck in the back of my head. But the film cost $1.5 million making it, right? Which is the director's most expensive at the time. But there were still budgetary issues. The producers told him that they'd used up all of the allotted funds for pyrotechnics during the exploding hookers scene, to which he replied, how the fuck am I going to film the lab scene? And he ended up calling in favours. So all those explosions was just used up so much of the film's budget, apparently.
Oh, okay.
But I think the issue was... There's another wee trivia fact, right, about the body parts, okay?
Yeah.
So, they had numerous body parts on set as props and such, and while some were flexible and more functional, others were stiff like mannequin limbs. And someone stole the flexible ones, though, forcing them to use the even further from realistic ones in the lab scenes. But I know we haven't talked... We'll obviously talk about it a bit more on the flip side.
Yeah.
But... my point to all this is, in the explosion scene, the explosions are still great, but it's the cuts from the women to what's clearly mannequins.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's anything that you could like change about the script or the filming of it, other than just like if you could remake it now and
it would
put
look
better CGI or better effects into the explosion scene, which is like a great fun scene, and because it's a kitschy movie anyway, it's that kind of mess of a movie. Maybe it fits and it's fine for what it is now. But if you remade this movie, that scene would need to be really, really like over the top, like proper explosions and better looking exploding people, which you could get nowadays.
Because I think you're right. It was awful. It
was awful, but it was a good awful, I think, for the film that we've got. It was good
for the fact that we're watching a bad movie, but if this was any kind of decent movie, then you'd...
Although I feel weird saying this is a bad movie. I mean, again,
it's a bad movie.
It's the premise of it. It's the weirdness of it.
It's a very good bad movie.
It's a very good bad movie, yeah. Anyway... So that's my idea that we could maybe change is that explosion scene and really have a great big an individual spectacle scene that leaves people going, whoa.
Yeah.
Would be good. But maybe that's. But
then it was funnier that they they were so bad. I think it did make it more amusing.
That's the thing. That is the thing, isn't it? You if you make something too perfect,
we kind of want that in these movies, don't we? We want that sort of, just something low budget, kind of rubbish.
Yeah.
Special effects and things like that. We don't want it to be polished, and because then it's a good movie.
Yeah, then it is a good movie. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. So, disregard what I'm going to say. I don't know if I was feeling it anyway. I don't know if I was feeling it because I was stumbling over it. Was it that good? No, maybe not. Have we found a film that actually, in its own right, just sits perfectly doing what it's doing and it doesn't need updating?
Yeah, I don't think I would do much to improve it. I don't know exactly what, but I think I'd like to have seen something more happen with the prostitute parts that were in the freezer.
Okay.
Those kind of monsters that came out at the end. Maybe instead of Elizabeth making sort of Frank and Jeff, maybe they sort of seek revenge, because he at the end of the day he's exploded them and used their body parts for his own.
I can understand the revenge on Sorrow because he's sort of controlled them for a portion of their life and doesn't look like he was a particularly nice guy, branding them and everything. But Jeff needs a.
Jeff blew them up, so I know it was the super crack, but he was kind of responsible for that.
Well, was he? Because he didn't give them the super crack; they stole the super crack from him and smoked it. So ultimately, it's their own fault.
True, they've got to take responsibility at some point.
They're
grown women. Come on.
Yeah, he brought the super crack into the situation,
but they didn't have to smoke it. I don't know. I don't know what I would do, but I feel like they could have done something more at the end there and used these sort of, I don't know, they're kind of like the what are they called? We used to get my mum when we were kids used to get, sorry, I'm going on about the 80s and 90s, but I'll make it quick. She used to buy these biscuits that were like broken. You get like boxes of biscuits, and they're perfectly good biscuits, nothing wrong with them, but they get broken. They can't sell them in the boxes, so you get a box of broken biscuits really cheap.
Yep.
And I can't remember what they used to call them, but it was basically all the broken biscuits, all the bits they can't sell that aren't good enough to sell. I feel like there was a name for them, and I can't think, but I feel like these in the freezer, these were like the broken biscuits.
Yes.
These are like the ones you can't sell.
Do you know what? I want to see a sequel
all the odd bits
of
and pieces.
them like escaping, or what life is like now with
especially the boob woman,
Frank and Beth, Frank and Jeff, and their offspring.
And are they making a success of prostitution anymore now that they're all weird kind of creatures? I mean, the boobs with a head on top, that could probably do quite well.
I feel like I don't know where I was going with it. I thought I was going to be like, I feel like that's kind of a glory hole scenario, to be fair.
Yeah.
Just remember that, everyone. If you go and visit a glory hole,
you don't know what's on the other side of that.
The other side of the wall. I
can't get my head around
a pile of boobs with a head on.
I can't get my head around how trusting men are with their penises.
Yeah, I know.
Because there could be a man on the other side with a knife. You just don't know what's going to happen. You're just sticking it into the unknown. Could be someone you know.
Just a wee guillotine.
It's just, it doesn't bear thinking about, does it? Like, how desperate have you got to be, like, for some sort of sexual experience to do that?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like to judge people, but I just think you're putting yourself at risk.
Everybody to their own, but there's such a risk, risk. That must be the thing about it, though, is the risk involved. But I mean, for me personally, I don't think the reward to the risk is enough.
No,
it's just not enough.
Especially not. I mean, you'd never know, I guess, but you could be related. You could be somebody you know.
Related and filleted.
It could be like your boss, or it could be anyone.
Now that'd be a proper power play, wouldn't it?
I mean,
my God, what's going on there? That's like that new Nicole Kidman movie.
It's just, I don't know. It's just,
yeah.
Do what you got to do, guys, but it's just, it's not safe.
No, I know it's not safe. I mean, like, also, what you have to think about is how have they made that hole? What's the material? Is it possible splinters?
Yeah.
There's just so many logistics that could go wrong there. Right, Emma, what do you want to score? I'm moving swiftly on.
You are, aren't you?
From the glory hole
let's
situation.
Get away from the glory holes.
What are we going to score this film? I'll let you go first because I know exactly what I'm scoring it.
Do I want to give it? I was going to give it 4 out of 5, but you know what? I can't think of a reason I wouldn't score it 5 out of 5. So I think I'm going to go 5 out of 5 because there's nothing in there that I'm like, oh, I liked it, but that.
Yeah.
I think I did like it all, so I think I'll go 5 out of 5.
And do you know what? As soon as you said, I was going to go 4 out of 5, and I knew as soon as you said that, you were going to be like, but I can't. And I knew you were going to go for 5.
There's not a reason to not give it 5.
Because I was thinking to myself, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5 because I do have some bad things to talk about.
Yeah, I have a couple of bad things, but nothing that...
Yeah, but also, my initial feeling is, this is a great, funny film.
Yeah.
It's stupid. Yeah, it has rough edges. But it is also just a great, funny film. And I think definitely is a watch again movie for me as well.
Yeah, and
I could watch that again.
I think every now and then, I mean, we are quite lucky with movies. We do sort of stumble across them, or we know about them because we've watched them previously or whatever. Yeah. But every now and then a movie comes along that we haven't seen, and you just know that's right up our street without even seeing it. And this one was like, as soon as I got told about it, I texted you.
Yeah.
I was like, we have to do this one. And I'm so glad we did because it was a real treat. So, yeah, I think... Yeah, I've got a couple of bad things for the flip side, but nothing that I think I can mark it down a whole point for.
Yeah. And like I said, I was thinking of giving it 4.5, but I knew I'm only saying that because I actually really want to give it a 5.
Yeah.
Definitely needs a 5. Brilliant film. Very much. Go watch it however you can. We watched it on, was it Prime?
I think it was Prime, yeah.
Yeah, it
was free on Prime as well.
It was free on Prime
Yeah.
because we watched it with adverts. But
yes,
that's right. My God, it was only just like moments ago. Well, I mean, I know we've been recording the episode, but it wasn't that long ago. Right. So we're going to go off and we're going to record the flip side about Frankenhooker.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I say, you can come and join us. This flip side is going to be free.
Yes.
But you have to sign up as a free member. All right. It's not just free to anyone. You got to be like, okay, fine. Here's our details. But if you want to, if you're intrigued after this episode, you can obviously become a full member and get access to all of the flip sides of the season.
Yeah.
And we have got, I think, finding the movies that we're looking at. There's an absolute classic old bad movie that my friend John has been on us about watching for a long time.
Yeah.
And I've wanted to watch it for a long time. I've never seen it, but it's an absolute classic and it's coming up. And obviously this is monster movies, so like there's going to be so much going on there. So much going on. Anyway, let's go do
a flip side.
Thank you. I've tested you. I was like, why did he stop? And we'll see you later, everyone. Bye.
Bye.